The Value Project Podcast, adding as much value as possible to inspire our listeners to achieve more out of life. Buckle up, it's about to get real.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Value Project. I am James Rowdy.
And I am Nate Gross.
This is episode number 3, and today we are talking about the importance of relationships. Relationships are extremely important to each and every one of us, whether you're an introvert, extrovert, or just a human being. Relationships impact us all deeply and mold us into the person or the people we become. So I think we're just gonna, dive straight into this. Nate, let's talk about how important relationships are. And I just want to, before we talk about, intimate relationships, I just really want to focus on friendship circles, right? So friendship circles are extremely important, as we both know. You're a product of your own environment. You hang around with people who do drugs and alcohol every weekend, you're going to be that fifth person. It's like Dan Pena says. He goes, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And it's you hang around with millionaires or billionaires, you're going to be the fifth one. So
Proximity is power.
yeah, I like that.
They say that you're the average of the 5 closest people to you. You become the average. So, like you said, if you're hanging around alcoholics, you're going to be the average of those 5 people.
Yeah.
So be mindful, I guess, of who you hang around. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of everybody, does it? Like,
No, it doesn't.
just spend time with people that can make you progress or like help you get further in life.
Yeah. Well,
Because you become the average of those 5 closest people to you.
that's it, and your goals have to align with the 5 people around you. If you've got mates who want to start, who have got their own business, but you just want to be an employee and do whatever you want to do, then that's probably the wrong circle for you. Like if you want to be an entrepreneur and be successful, then why are you hanging around people that are fucking just want to do drugs and party every weekend? You
Yep.
know. So these are things you've got to be very mindful of, and again, it comes back to being self-aware, right?
It does.
Self-awareness is everything. So, I'm just going to share a bit of an experience that I went through recently
With a friend.
with a friend. So, an old friend of mine, I went through a bit of a learning curve, if you will. So, I had this friend who, I was close with, probably known him about 4 or 5 years, and we met on the sesh back in the day. And I had a lot of love and respect for this person, and yeah, and then I obviously, if you guys listened to the first podcast, you'd know that, last year I decided to move to Bali, and I was still very close with this person and this group of friends, and they, as my life was evolving, and I was, you know decided, well, came to that realization of what I want to achieve out of life, and decided, I've done the 100-day challenge. I didn't want to really party too much anymore. I had goals and a mission, a life mission that I need to achieve. And these guys are still partying and stuff like that, but I still had a lot of love and respect for them. I've got a lot of love to give people. I'm a very loving person and caring person, and me and this guy were quite close, and would speak all the time, and all that sort of stuff. And I helped get him into the gym, and helped him, implement all these cool positive things that just had an awesome impact on his life.
How long were you friends with him for? Like leading up to what you're going to share?
4 to 5 years.
Okay.
And yeah, like I said, we met on the sesh. We used to party quite a lot. So we were, quite close. And this guy, you just, yeah, really nice guy, and all that sort of stuff. And I came back, and I moved back to Melbourne after my Bali stint. And then, yeah, we kept hanging out, and all that sort of stuff. And then again, these guys, I came back, I was like, cool, I've got a goal, I've got a purpose. This is what I need to do. This is my life direction. And then, and these guys, they just weren't too engaged with what I wanted. I was trying to teach them all about the beautiful world of Web3, crypto, NFTs, and I was like, cool, starting a business, doing this, setting up multiple streams of income, being healthy, doing all these good things. And their mindset was completely different to mine, right? and they still wanted to party and go on the sesh and go on a 2 or 3 day bender, and it just didn't align with my morals. And I was just like, but I still had a lot of love for these people, this one person in particular. And then this one person, I find out, uh, I think I moved back in, when was it, May, and I think it was like July. This person told me, and he goes, we went on a walk one day, and he goes, I was telling him about this book called The 48 Laws of Power. And law number two, don't quote me on it, but it's something along the lines of like, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. And then this guy just overcame with emotion, and he's like, "Oh, there's someone I got to tell you." And I was like, "What's up, mate?" And he goes, "Oh," and I was like, "You all right? What's going on?" And he goes,
I remember this conversation because you
"Yeah."
told me.
And and then he went on to tell me that he'd slept with my ex-girlfriend, while I was over in Bali. And, at that point of time, I was just like, fight or flight mode kicked in. I was like, cool, I'm going to beat the shit out of this person. Then intuition kicked in and goes, you're better than that. And then, I'd made peace. I'd made peace with my past, with my ex. I came back to Melbourne. I caught up with her at a coffee shop and I said, hey, just this, apologize for our relationship in the past. You're an awesome person. You have a great life. I don't want any sort of contact to do with you anymore. And yeah, so, he told me that. And then, yeah, and I just looked at him dead in the eyes and I just said, it's all good. And he was shaken up and he's just like, I'm really, really sorry. And I was like, it's a really dick move, dude,
It is.
and then he goes, "Yeah, well, it was lockdown, I was lonely, I went over to her for some drinks, she had a bag." And I was like, "It's no excuse, dude." And I was just like, it was just it was really tough thing to go through, and it actually affected me a lot more than what I thought it would. And, this person who I'd given nothing but love and respect to, and, this person was he was like this master assassin because he'd come up to people. He's very, like, a lot of, very affectionate. He'd always give you a hug, always seemed happy, really nice sort of guy. But then, behind your back, he's, sleeping with your ex-girlfriend. And look, I mean, look, I know that some people, my ex, I dated her, what, we've been on broken up for over a year. And look, some people might agree, some people might not. That's fine. That's your opinion. But I mean, for us, we've got morals, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, it's whether you're dating someone or whatever, that that person, it's a no-go zone,
100%.
especially exes. And
100%. There's
and yeah, so it's just that no-go zone. So, you know, it was real awkward. And I was like, okay, cool. I was still digesting it. And then, he's telling me that his stepdad's in hospital and stuff like that. And I was just like really numb and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, well, this is pretty shit news. And then I think it's just the fact that, it happened. He told me like, oh, it happened back in January, and he'd taken 5 to 6 months to tell me. And then I'm like, fuck, like, if you were going to do that, just be honest from the get go. The fact that you're still pretending to be my friend while you're fucking stabbing me in the back and going, and,
yeah,
like, that's just a fucking no no.
100%. And it's like, why go for a mate's ex when there's over 3 billion more? I don't know the exact number, but
Then there's more females than guys in the world,
yeah,
all right?
well, you're looking at 4 billion females in the girl. Why go for one that your mate's been with? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it is a dick move. And I had the same thing happen to me.
Mm,
So I can totally relate where a mate did that and actually went out with the girl that I was seeing. I never went out with her, but we were exclusive.
mm,
Exact same. Well, not exact because you actually went out with her, but still, it doesn't matter.
it doesn't.
It's the principle, and we're human. So of course, when we find out those things, it hurts. You
Mm,
know, like, and I had the same thing as you. I wanted to beat the absolute shit out of him, but then I was like, what for? What
yeah.
for? What am I going to get out of this? I'm not going to get. I might feel good for 5, 10 seconds after it, or a minute after it, but then it's going to eat me alive and go, what was the point? You know what I mean? I didn't get anything out of it. And you just know how that person is. Like they show their true colors, and
Mm.
then you can decide how you want to deal with it. And I'm not friends with him, and I'm sure you're not friends
No,
with that guy.
after that, I just looked at him, and as much as it hurt, and I was like, oh, it hurt a lot, and then, um, I just looked at him, and I just like, I feel really sad for him because he's a very sad, lonely individual. He's very looks like he's happy and he's got his life together on the outside, but deep down, man, he's a very sad individual. And I just like, you know what? I hope that guy gets the support and help he needs and comes to that realization and gets to the point in his life where he's like, oh, I've got some really deep work to do. I've got to stop masking my insecurities around drugs and alcohol and stabbing my good friends in the back, because, but I was grateful for the experience because I'm like, you know what? I went through a big learning curve where, after I went through that, I went and questioned every single one of my fucking friendships. I went onto my Instagram and I looked at all the people I was following and I questioned every single one of those friendships. And I was like, cool. And then I just looked at how many people I was holding on to, who I thought were my friends. They weren't my friends,
No.
there was these people that I sold drugs to years ago, or I'd met in a club, and I
Yeah.
was like, so I just started unfollowing people, and I was just like, you know what, and I started focusing on friendships and relationships that are important to me. As
Like this one.
I like this one, and as I went through it, and now I've got a very very small select circle. Like I've got a lot of love to give. I'm always kind and stuff to others, and it's not, oh, that person done you wrong. You got to fucking go and get them back. It's like, no, 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 no. Remove yourself from the situation and just focus on the people. Look, everything in life is reciprocal, especially relationships. So, you need to look at relationships and go, cool, what value do I bring to this person's life? What value do they bring to my life? If they don't bring value or it's a one way street, fuck them off.
Yeah.
So it's just like, stop wasting your time, stop wasting their time.
But the problem, yeah, I totally agree. But the problem is in a lot of relationships, doesn't matter about intimate friendship, whatever, people go into it thinking what they can get out of that relationship
Yeah.
instead of thinking what they can offer that relationship. And then they get annoyed, like when their friend or an intimate partner does something because they have these expectations.
Mm,
And we were talking about this yesterday before doing this podcast, and we said, like, if you trade your expectations for appreciations, it will
yeah.
change so many different things because you're not that person. That person has different ways of looking at things. And if you're expecting them to be like you and how you are, you're going to be sadly disappointed. And it's gonna just create anger and hate inside you. So that's why I say, and I've heard this so many times from people, trade your expectations for appreciations. Uh,
100%.
yeah. Because, yeah,
I think yeah, I totally agree. And it's just, after you go through those experiences and like I was saying, I was questioning every friendship and got a small select circle, and then I found out that some of my other friends in that circle had known, and I was just like, fuck, man, it's a stab in the back, and I'm just like, I've done everything right, but I'm like, well, what that person done towards me, that's nothing to do with me. That's a reflection of them. My ex and him, they wanted to do that. That's fine. That's a reflection on them because, again, sad, lonely individuals with massive insecurities, and they go, "Oh, do this to get back at Rowdy or whatever." And I'm just like, "That's fine," but like I'm on my life. I'm on to bigger and better things.
yeah,
And I tell you, since I went through all of that, and then now I focused on my circle, my life has got fucking 1,000 times better. We have quality, good conversations. We ring each other, we tell each other we love each other, we ask how each other's health, mental health is, how our businesses are going. What their goals look like, and we g each other the fuck up. And it fires me up when like you're winning
yeah,
and all my mates are winning, and I'm surrounded by myself now with successful people, and all we do is fucking win now.
yeah. Find friends who support you. Don't like
Exactly, and those people that
not the
I'll
one, not the ones that are going to be jealous of you,
yeah,
because there's people that will be jealous and don't
100%,
want you to succeed.
and
It's just,
they reckon they're your friend.
yeah, it's just what happens. It's because they're scared of that you're doing something that they're too scared to do, you
Yeah,
know?
100%, and it's just yeah, it's your life gets so much better, and it just goes to show you, like surround yourself, with the right friendship circle, and your like that have the same goals and the same morals and align with your life, like it's going to get 10,000 times better. I'll look back at that group that, done wrong by me, and they're still going out partying every weekend,
Doing the same
doing
shit.
the same shit.
Insanity.
Yeah, insanity, absolutely, and I just stopped. I unfollowed all of them, and I'm just like, look, but I was like, mate, good for you guys. If that's what makes you happy, that's fine. But for me and my crew now, like, we're doing big shit.
Yeah.
We're fucking starting businesses. We're doing all these cool side projects and everything like that. Like, that aligns with where I want to be and the projection that we're on. Not just me, but where we're on.
And we want our listeners on that projection too, on that
Exactly,
same path.
exactly,
That's
and
that's the whole point of this podcast. Otherwise, why would we do it? We could just have this conversation,
just keep it
which
to
which
ourselves,
which we do.
which we
When,
do.
when we call when we call each other, we have these
Exactly.
conversations just like we're having now. But we thought to add value, so we want our listeners that same life. We
Yeah.
want everyone to succeed.
Yeah, look, and I wish those that old group of friends nothing but the best.
Yeah,
You know what? But it's just like, and I'm sure they'll be happy. I hope they're happy one day, and that person, gets the help he needs to get. But it's just like, you know what? It's just it was a massive learning curve for me, and I just think, yeah, it definitely made me into a better person. And it's a tough lesson to go through, guys. Like, you're gonna go through life and you're gonna, have people who stab you in the back and do the wrong thing by you. It's nothing against you.
no,
It's
hurt.
nothing to do with you. Hurt people, hurt
That's
people.
it. That's what I was
Healed
going.
people, healed people. And we're healed. So that's all we do now is just heal other people and help other people.
Yeah.
And all these other people that go around hurting other people and just throwing out, regurgitating their insecurities on everyone throughout, life. It's just really, really sad.
Yeah, because a
Really,
lot of
really
people
sad.
haven't dealt with it. It's being vulnerable. It's being able to bring up things that cause your insecurities, but a lot of people don't want to face it, and this is why people get stuck. This is why people don't achieve what they want to achieve because they're not willing to face that trauma, that past, that ugly, the shame, the guilt, whatever it may
Absolutely.
be. They're not willing to face it, but it's the only way through. It's the only way to break through.
Mm,
Like there's no other way.
100%.
Opening up is the only way to break through.
Yeah, 100%. It's that whole like victim blaming, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's just like, oh, I'm the victim, like I could have played that victim card like, oh, like
Why me? Why
why me?
me?
Why
Why
me? Why?
me?
And you do think like that at the start.
Yeah.
You go, "What? I've done everything wrong. I mean, everything right.
Have you? You've done
I've
everything
done
wrong, bro.
everything right." And I've helped all these people, and I've given them nothing but love, and I want them to win, and it's just like, and then this person treats me like that, and it's not just that person. When I found out that group was doing it, and it's just like, oh, there was this big divide throughout the group, and it's just like, everyone that's still mates with him, that's fine. But for me, I look at it and I go, well, that those people have accepted that moral standard. They think it's okay for that person to, sleep with other people. And I found out that that person had done it with another one of our other mates, who was going through a breakup, and then he was going through the breakup, and that person went and texted his missus, going, "Oh, if you ever need any help or anything, I can help you out." And it's just like, dude,
It's not a
like
one-time thing.
that's not a one-time thing. He
If he
hasn't learned his lesson.
yeah, if he's doing it over and again, that just shows who he is.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people make mistakes and yeah, it's not right what he did, but if it was a one-time thing and he never did again, then you could understand, okay, you had a bad moment, you had a period where you did something that you're not proud of. We've all done stuff we're not
Mhm.
proud of. We can't judge people, because we've been in that exact same position, not the exact same thing. But he did it twice
Yeah.
and he will do it again.
Yeah.
Like, I hope he doesn't. I don't know him personally. I hope he doesn't. But if he doesn't heal
Mm.
and he still has those problems, those insecurities, yeah, he'll definitely do it again.
And I think, just on that, like just talking about now, like intimate relationships, with a partner or something like that. And, I see people that, go from one relationship, they break up and it's a messy breakup or whatever. And then bang, 2 weeks, a month later, they're in another one. And, again, these people haven't healed properly and dealt with all these issues that why they broke up with that person in the first place or why it didn't work. And then they're carrying around all of that through into their next relationship. Then that relationship doesn't go right. And it's just like, well, why? And people don't people don't think about well, why didn't that relationship work out? What did I do wrong? What did they do wrong? What was my what lesson did I learn from this? You
Yeah,
know?
100%. It's because they blame.
Mm,
They don't look inwards and go, what happened? What wasn't I doing, or who wasn't I being in that relationship? Because it's so easy to go, it was her fault, or his fault, or
mm,
whatever. And you're right, you carry that onto your next relation, and people always wonder like why their relationships don't work out. Like it's because you haven't taken control, or you haven't taken responsibility for your actions in those relationships. It's like that victim blaming that you said.
mm,
When you blame somebody else, you're essentially handing your control over
mm,
to whatever, because you're essentially saying that's not my fault. So you've handed that control over to that person, and you need to take responsibility. Yeah, you're right. Like, I noticed this with my relationships. Like, I thought I just wasn't finding the right girls. To be honest, I'm going to be real honest with everyone.
mm,
I thought I wasn't finding the right girls. I've got my first long-term relationship was with my son's mum. We were
mm,
together 5 years, and I thought she just wasn't the right one. But I didn't realize I wasn't willing to do the work back then. That
mm,
relationship could have worked, it could have, and I could have still been a family and have my son. Like, I don't regret anything, because I'm a massive believer of life happens to you, not for you.
mm.
Everything had to happen
100%.
to get me to this point. And then the second relationship, because I didn't heal properly and I didn't take that responsibility for my own actions, I took it into, and I won't name her name, but you
Yeah.
know who I'm talking about. Um, and did the same thing, and this went on for 4 years, and it was on and off thing. But to be fair, I need to just give a shout out to her, because she was the one, this my last ex, she was the one that made me want to change. She laid down rules and said, if you don't quit painkillers, if you don't fix your life, this relationship's done.
Mm,
Like, we'd broken up, so to get her back, that's what I had to do. It wasn't like, it wasn't what I had to do, but it's what I wanted to do. So I really have to take my hats off to my ex, because without her, who knows where I'll be. She wanted better for me, but at the end of the day, I still hadn't fixed I started to, then relapse and stuff, and things got, so it's never been the girls. Like, people think, oh, they're not the right one for me. No, any relationship can work. It's hard work. It's like anything else. Any relationship can work if you do the work, because you're always going to have arguments. You're always going to
and it's a
have
two-way street.
100% it is.
And most of the time, it's a one-way street with people, as we
Yeah.
just
And
said, you know?
I'll put my hand up. I'm sure you've been there.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
so I'm not saying that again, I'm this person and I'm trying to preach all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I've fucked up,
Yeah, man,
I've
I've fucked
fucked
up in
up
the past too.
massively. I just take that ownership now. And I know moving forward, if I ever find someone else, or whatever,
Mm,
I know I'm doing the work now, that I'll probably find someone, like, not someone different, but like they say, you attract who you are.
mm.
You know what I mean? That's why you keep attracting these same people. So, yeah, I've learned massively, and I know you have too.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. And it's just, now, I think it's just, probably, won't dive too deep into it, but now I'm at a point in my life where it's like, okay, cool, now I'm open again. I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, would have been maybe 4 months ago now, 3 or 4 months ago, yeah, something around that. And I was only with her for a short time, maybe 4 months. And beautiful, amazing girl, like unreal, right? Like,
Yeah, you said that. I never
yeah,
met her, but yeah, you
we,
said
we,
it
and
was
we
during
vi-
COVID.
it was during
Yeah.
COVID.
Well, it's still COVID. It's
Yeah,
fucking been COVID for fucking 86
yeah,
years.
that's it. So, yeah, met this girl, and yeah, and went. It was, you know, went really, really well. And we're both very open and honest, and we added a lot of value to each other's lives, and but there was she was a lot younger. She was 24. I'm 31. And she had a lot of growing to do, and a lot of learning and a lot of healing to do. And then, and we're both Aries, so both stubborn as shit. I'm obviously more self-aware now, and I know when I'm being stubborn, and I try my best to combat that. But her, I could see like a younger version of, like, that Aries, that
How old
stubbornness.
was she?
I just said
Oh,
24.
24. So I didn't. I must have. My mind must have been somewhere else. I was listening, but yeah, I
Uh,
missed that. Sorry,
um,
bro.
so
How old again?
yeah, so she said, so yeah, so look, she, we had discussions about, kids, which on the second date, she sat me down. She goes, so, what's your goals and all like, like what's your thoughts on kids? I said, listen, I've got like a 3-year goal. Well, it was a 5-year goal. I reckon I'm going to do it in 3, right? And I was like, that's my goal.
To
And I was,
have kids.
no, my goal is financial freedom.
Yeah.
And I reckon I'm going to achieve, well, I know I'm going to achieve it in 3 years. I said, nothing's getting in the way of that. And I said, so that's my life. I was like, I'm not open for kids. Once I get financial freedom, then I'm happy to discuss it. So I was like, I thought it was really mature. She brought it up on the second date because it's like, everyone's like, oh, red flags, red flags. I'm like, you know what? No, because I just think she's told me what she wants and where she's at, and I respect that. But I felt like as the relationship went on, things kept getting brought up, and then, she's like, oh, I'm going to go see my naturopath. Then that's when the red flags came out, and I went and see my psychologist and I told him about it and he goes, James, get the fuck out. and I s-
Well,
and I said, yeah, well, I was like, mate, he goes, how many people I see in this relation that come into my office with the same situation, and then one person's ready, the other isn't, they get pregnant, and then there's resentment. You can't bring up a child in an environment where the parents resent each other and they hate each other. That's a really bad environment to bring up a child. And I don't want to, that for me personally, I don't want to bring a child up until we get to that stage. But yeah, so, I had to make the tough decision. My heart was in it, right? And,
I remember you having the conversation. I
yeah.
remember what I said to you
And,
too.
I had a lot of love and respect for this girl, but my mind was just not in it. Like my brain is just like, it's not going to work, and this doesn't align with our goals and where we need to be, and I had to break up with her, and it was tough, and I still miss her every day.
Yeah.
And that's okay to miss someone,
Of course.
you
I
know.
miss I miss both mine. Like
Oh, dude, I miss that guy that shat on me and stabbed me in the back. I miss him every now and then.
I was like, did someone shit on you,
No,
bro?
but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like it's okay to miss people, but don't drink poison when you're thirsty. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's that saying that don't drink poison when you're thirsty. And it's just like, yeah, I think it was just a massive learning curve, and it does take courage to pull yourself out of a situation. And it's like, you know what? And it was during COVID too. I was in my apartment, I was by myself, lonely, but it was good because,
It's the hardest thing to do, isn't it?
yeah,
To break up with someone, to
100%.
break someone's heart when they're like into
Yeah, and it
wanting
was
more.
and it was going, it was blossoming into something beautiful, and I just said, "Hey, it's not going to happen. It's not progressing.
Yeah,
It's
you put
just."
it off for a while. I remember our
Yeah, I tried to
conversations,
break
but
up with.
it's hard. It's
It
hard.
is. Yeah,
It's one of the hardest things to do
yeah,
because you're breaking someone's heart.
yeah, 100%. It's yeah, I think, but now it's, I've healed from, past relationships, and so have you,
Mm.
and I think, now, we're healed, so we want to heal other people. We got a lot of love to give, but and
I've still got some things to work on. I'm sure you do
oh yeah,
too.
me too.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's just like, but I mean, from
from
versing someone who jumps from relationship to relationship, I mean, I think that's a massive red flag. Like I had a mate who went through a divorce and then, like a couple of weeks later, jumps into a relationship with a girl. And I was like, "You all right, dude?" And he's
yeah,
just like, "Yeah, I met this great girl, and it's going well." And then,
they
and
think they're the one, and
yeah, and then I was like, "Dude, you haven't made peace with your
yeah,
past." I was like, "You need to focus on that before you can move forward." Um, so, but and now that didn't work out. And I saw it, I knew it was gonna work out because I could just see the behaviors and she was from a past relationship as well. And I was like, you guys just need to, you know, you can't love someone. We all get brought up in different environments and taught, this is what love looks like. I've seen in New Zealand, a lot of, families over there, and where it's tough in the ghetto, it's like a lot of love is just it's a lot of anger,
mm,
and a lot of people express themselves through anger and insecurities and stuff like that. And for that kid growing up in that environment, they think that that's okay. So then they're going, oh, well, that's how I love, is being abusive,
Of course. And it
and I
starts that cycle, starts that generational cycle, and they
yeah.
pass it on to the kids do it. And the way you break it is to change that.
100%. So I think, just to sort of like recap on everything, we've talked about, how important relationships are, and and the relationships we go through, they mold us into who we are. My past relationships, I've learned a lot from them, and I'm so grateful for that experience. Even if it didn't work out, I'm just like, look, I take something away from every situation, and I'm just like, I wish those people nothing but the best, and I just hope that they're happy, like, whether it be friendships or people that I've, dated or whatever. And it's just like I just really hope that they're happy and they find out, what's good for them. And it just goes to show, we're all on different journeys too, and it's very important to relationships, whether it be a friendship, an intimate one, whatever, they mold you into who you are. So choose very, very carefully, who you keep close, and make sure that those people and their goals and morals align with
Yeah,
yours.
and have the
Otherwise,
best interest.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. Otherwise, you're wasting time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting their time, and you're just going to be stuck in the same situation.
I would suggest people to do an audit, not an actual audit, but just like take 5, 10 minutes out of your day, or one day this week, and just maybe think about your friendship circle and think about who actually adds value to your life and
Mm,
who doesn't. And the people that don't, spend less time with them. You don't have to get rid of them, just spend less time with them, because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have the best day of your life. So surround yourself with those people.
absolutely, and it's setting boundaries too.
Yeah.
Like I set boundaries with everyone. And it's just like, because I just know it's like, okay, well, this person does that I don't like, or whatever, or it's just like, oh, this person's just only hits me up when they want X, or they need this. It doesn't happen too often anymore, but you just got to set boundaries with people, and just call people, like we call each other out on their bullshit, on each other's bullshit, and go, are you lying, bro? Or you doing this wrong? Are you doing that wrong? And it's just like you've got to be, yeah, I am, and just be honest with yourself, and it's just like that's cool, just put you know, don't worry about your fucking little ego getting hurt. Ours get hurt all the time,
It
especially as
does.
males, the massive egos. But it's just like, yeah, I totally agree. I think, yeah, just take some time out this week. Look at your 5 best friends and just think about where you're at in your life and where you want to be.
And do
Uh,
they have that same vision as
Yeah.
you?
Do they have the same vision? Do they share the same vision? Do they have the same morals? And yeah, and then if they don't, I mean, well, then you've got some decisions to make, I guess. And yeah, like Nate said, we're not going around. We don't want you guys to go right. Fuck these cunts, fuck them off, fuck everyone. It's like, no,
Up
be
you,
yeah,
fuck you.
be kind, right? You've
Yeah.
got to be kind. And for me, I didn't go out and hurt other people when I got hurt. It's just like, okay, cool. That's fine. I feel sorry for you guys, but that's cool. I'm on a different projection, and my life's gotten 10,000 times more better since I stopped hanging around with those people.
Hmm.
And, it's just like, but it's like, okay, cool. I just removed myself from the situation. You know, Sometimes actions speak louder than words,
They do.
and it's just like, yeah, and I think that's it. Is there anything else that you wanted to
No,
share?
just about like intimate relationships. Like, I know we've had some failed ones and we haven't found the right one, but we touched on it. Why? Because we took we realized that we weren't perfect. Nobody's perfect. Perfection is the lowest standard you can set for yourself because it doesn't exist.
Mm,
So again, we're not telling you how to find the perfect relationship. We're just sharing experiences and
that's
stuff
it.
like that. And we both hope to find that one girl, and we'll know what to do. Like, even when things aren't going right, we won't be like, well, it's your fault, I'm leaving because you're not the perfect person. No, you got to work on that, and we know that now. So
Absolutely. And just quickly, like if you're searching for happiness in someone else, you're going to be miserable, because you've got to find happiness and be happy and love yourself first before you can go love someone else.
correct, it's like that analogy. On a plane, right? In an emergency situation,
Mm,
the before you take off, they tell you that in emergency situation, when the oxygen mask comes down, you need to put it on your face first. Even if you have kids next to you, the reason they tell you this is because how can you help people if you don't put that oxygen mask on first? And it's a perfect analogy for life.
fuck, that's a great analogy.
Yeah, you need to get yourself.
God, you're so wise. I love it. I love all your analogies.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's a perfect analogy for life. You need to get yourself right first before you can help anybody else because the secret to life is giving. It's amazing to help people, but if you're helping everybody else and not helping yourself, well, you can't be that person you need to be for that person because you're not right yourself.
Love
So,
it. Guys, that's it for today's episode. We just want to thank everybody for the love and support so far. The feedback has been overwhelming, and we are very grateful for all of you taking the time out of your busy days and listening and also providing us feedback. It means the world to us. Please like, share, subscribe across YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and we'll see you on the next episode.
peace.
Peace.